Since the dawn of humanity, we have looked to the stars, to the depths of the earth, and to the mysteries of life around us, searching for answers. Who are we? Where did we come from? How was this world, with all its beauty and strangeness, born? These questions, woven deeply into the fabric of human existence, have given rise to stories that connect us to forces beyond our understanding and tell of worlds before our own. They are our creation myths. Across every culture and continent, these myths hold the keys to each society's earliest understanding of existence, giving life to gods, spirits, and forces that shape the cosmos. To some, the universe began in silence and darkness, only to be split open by the first spark of light. To others, the world emerged from the infinite waters of chaos, shaped by powerful beings who carved order from disorder. And in every myth, we find common themes: light breaking through darkness, order emerging from chaos, life coming from nothingness, and the struggle between creation and destruction. Through these stories, each culture not only finds its own place in the world, but also answers the universal questions of life, death, and rebirth. For the ancient Egyptians, creation began in the vast, endless waters of Nun. To the Babylonians, it was the result of a cosmic battle between gods, with order rising from the remains of chaos. The Greeks saw the universe born from the primordial void of chaos, while the Norse imagined creation as a sacrifice, where the body of a giant formed the earth itself. But creation myths are more than just stories. They are reflections of the hopes, fears, and values of the people who told them. They remind us of the interconnectedness of all things, the delicate balance between light and dark, creation and destruction, and the never-ending cycles of life that we are all part of. Today, we embark on a journey through these ancient tales, from the banks of the Nile to the misty mountains of Scandinavia, from the plains of Mesoamerica to the islands of the Pacific. In these myths, we find both the wonder and mystery that have defined human existence, and a shared vision of life's eternal questions. So let us begin with the first myth, the Egyptian creation, where life emerges from the waters of Nun, and the gods take their first steps to shape the world. Chapter 1. Ancient Egypt, Creation from the Waters of Nun. In the beginning, before time had meaning or shape, there was only Nun, the dark, infinite, and silent waters that stretched beyond imagination. The ancient Egyptians believed that Nun was the boundless sea, an endless ocean where neither earth nor sky existed. It was a place of pure potential, a void filled with energy yet untouched by form or light. In this watery chaos lay the seeds of everything, though nothing yet had been created. For the Egyptians, Nun was more than just water. It was a force, an embodiment of all that was unformed and unknowable. From this watery abyss would rise the first divine spark of creation, bringing order and structure to a world waiting to be born. Out of the vast silence of Nun, a single thought stirred, a moment of consciousness, and with it came Atum, the first god, the creator. Atum emerged alone, rising from the waters of Nun as a figure of both male and female aspects, for there was no division yet, no need for duality in this timeless state. He came forth on a mound of earth that appeared from the depths, a solitary island amid the endless expanse. This primordial mound, called the Ben, symbolized the first land, the first separation of earth from water, order from chaos. As Atum looked out over the dark sea of Nun, he knew that he was alone. In his solitude, he desired to create others, to bring forth companions to help shape the world. And so, through an act of sheer will, Autumn gave birth to his first two children, Shu, the god of air, and Tefnut, the goddess of moisture. In this moment, the first elements of life and the world as we know it began to take form. Shu represented the atmosphere, the breath of life, while Tefnut embodied moisture, the vital fluid that would allow life to flourish. Shu and Tefnut grew and thrived, exploring the newly forming world alongside their father, yet they were also inseparable, bound together as both siblings and opposites. Through their union, the universe continued to expand. Together they created Geb, the earth god, and Nut, the sky goddess. With the birth of Geb and Nut, a new division was made. The earth and sky were pulled apart, separating the heavens above from the ground below, establishing a space in which life could exist and thrive. But Geb and Nut were inseparable lovers, their embrace so tight that there was no room for anything to grow between them. The world was still suffocating, caught between the earth and the sky, trapped without light or air. Seeing this, Shu, their father, took it upon himself to lift Nut away from Geb, raising her into the heavens. With his powerful arms, he held Nut aloft, arching her over the earth and creating the sky. Her body stretched across the heavens, becoming a vast, shimmering canopy filled with stars. Geb, her beloved, lay beneath her, forming the land, his mountains and valleys a reflection of his eternal love for the sky above. This separation of earth and sky was the first act of cosmic order, creating the world in which life could flourish. Nut became the night sky, her star-filled body arching over the world, while Geb remained below, solid and steady, a foundation for all things. From the touch of Geb and Nut came all the creatures, plants, and rivers that would populate the earth, each a manifestation of the divine forces that continued to shape the world. And so, the cycle of life began, nurtured by the elements, united by the spirit of the gods who had come before. Adam, watching over his creation, realized that it was only the beginning. He knew that the world needed more than structure. It needed guidance, protection, and a sense of justice to ensure its harmony. To fulfill this need, Shu and Tefnut brought forth new gods, each one an embodiment of the forces that governed life and the afterlife. Among them were Osiris, the god of the underworld and resurrection; Isis, the goddess of magic and motherhood; Set, the god of chaos and deserts; and Nephthys, the goddess of morning. Together, these gods formed the Ennead, a divine council that would oversee the world's order, ensuring that life would continue, death would be honored, and balance would be preserved. The Egyptians saw the balance between order and chaos as essential, a cosmic struggle that maintained the harmony of the universe. As the gods grew in number and influence, they each took on roles within this balance, reflecting aspects of life, death, and the cycles of nature. Osiris became the god of the afterlife, ruling over the dead and offering resurrection to those who lived virtuous lives. Isis, his wife and sister, was revered for her wisdom, her magic, and her role as a protector of both gods and humans. She embodied the nurturing side of creation, a force of compassion and healing that could bridge the world of the living and the dead. Yet, even within this divine family, there were tensions. Set, the god of chaos and storms, represented the darker side of the cosmos, a force of disruption and upheaval. He envied Osiris's role and plotted against him, leading to one of Egypt's most famous myths, the betrayal and dismemberment of Osiris by his brother Set. But even in death, Osiris's spirit endured, and through the love and magic of Isis, he was resurrected, becoming a symbol of rebirth and the eternal cycles of life. The story of creation and the struggles of the gods became the foundation of Egyptian religion and culture. The Egyptians believed that these cosmic events continued to resonate in their lives, that the order created by Atum and sustained by the Ennead was essential to maintaining Ma'at, the principle of truth, balance, and justice. Ma'at was not only a concept, but also a goddess in her own right, and she represented the harmonious order that held the world together. Every Egyptian, from the humblest farmer to the mightiest pharaoh, was responsible for upholding Ma'at, ensuring that chaos would never again consume the world. Through this intricate system of gods, balance, and cosmic roles, the Egyptians explained the mysteries of existence. They saw their lives as part of a larger tapestry, one woven by divine beings and sustained by the cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. To them, every element of life was connected to the mythic acts of creation. The rising of the Nile mirrored the life-giving waters of Nun. The sun, god Ra's journey across the sky each day, echoed Shu's separation of the earth and sky. And the preservation of Ma'at ensured that chaos would never again threaten their world. As we step away from this ancient story, we see that the Egyptians, like all cultures, sought meaning in the mysteries of creation. Their myth of Nun, Atum, and the Ennead speaks to a deep need for structure, justice, and connection. A vision of life as a delicate balance that is constantly maintained by the forces of order and chaos. It reminds us that even in the face of darkness and uncertainty, there is always a spark of light waiting to bring forth life. Just as Atum rose from the depths of Nun to create the world. Next, we journey to another ancient civilization, where the act of creation begins not in solitude, but in conflict. In Mesopotamian mythology, creation emerges from a cosmic struggle between gods, a battle that brings order from chaos and shapes the fate of humanity. Join us as we venture into the story of the Enuma Elish and witness the power of creation through the clash of divine forces. Chapter 2. Mesopotamian Myth, the Enuma Elish. In the ancient land of Mesopotamia, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers flow, the people looked to the skies and saw forces of power and chaos, creation and destruction. They imagined a time before time, an era before the heavens and earth had form or structure. The world began in a vast and turbulent sea, a churning void of salt water and fresh water, where two primordial beings, Apsu, the god of fresh water, and Tiamat, the goddess of salt water, dwelt. Together, they embodied the mingling of waters, the chaotic source of all existence. Apsu and Tiamat were ancient and eternal, their lives undisturbed in the formless deep. But from their union came younger gods, beings of light and energy who brought motion, noise, and life into the silent depths. These new gods, children of the primordial waters, were bright, curious, and eager, and their activities began to stir the tranquility of Apsu and Tiamat's realm. Their endless movement and joyful chaos shattered the stillness that had once reigned, and, over time, Apsu grew weary of their presence. Annoyed by the constant disruption, Apsu resolved to put an end to the younger gods, intending to destroy them and reclaim the silence of his waters. When the younger gods learned of his intentions, they were filled with dread. In desperation, they turned to Ea, the god of wisdom, who was known for his cleverness and cunning. Determined to protect his kin, Ea devised a plan. He cast a spell over Apsu, putting him into a deep sleep, and then took Apsu's life, forever silencing the ancient god of fresh water. With Apsu's death, Ea claimed his throne, establishing a new order among the gods. But Tiamat, the saltwater goddess, was enraged by the loss of her consort. Her grief and fury transformed her into a being of unimaginable power, a force of chaos and destruction. She became a raging sea, filled with monstrous creatures born from her wrath. Dragons, serpents, and storm beasts that would do her bidding. Determined to avenge Apsu's death, Tiamat declared war on her rebellious children, threatening to engulf all creation in her fury. In the face of Tiamat's wrath, the younger gods grew fearful, knowing they were no match for her overwhelming power. They turned to Marduk, the son of Ea, a young god whose strength and bravery were unmatched. Marduk agreed to confront Tiamat, but he demanded a reward. If he succeeded, he would claim the highest place among the gods, ruling over all creation. The other gods, desperate for survival, agreed to his terms and bestowed upon him the powers and weapons he would need to face the Chaos Goddess. Armed with his bow, his club, and a net to ensnare his foe, Marduk prepared for battle. He called upon the four winds to trap Tiamat, sending them forth to hem her in, preventing her from escaping. When Tiamat appeared, she was a fearsome sight, a swirling tempest of scales, fangs, and wrath, her monstrous children arrayed around her like an army of nightmares. But Marduk did not falter. He confronted her with courage, and the two clashed in a battle that shook the heavens and the earth. The struggle was fierce, a clash between order and chaos, life and death. Tiamat roared, sending waves and storms crashing toward Marduk, but he was swift, avoiding her attacks and returning blows with precision and power. At last, he cast his net around her, trapping her in its enchanted threads. With a mighty shout, he released an arrow that pierced her heart, and Tiamat fell, her chaos brought to an end. With Tiamat defeated, Marduk looked upon her vast, lifeless form, and a new vision came to him, a vision of a world shaped from the remains of chaos. Using his strength and will, Marduk split Tiamat's body in two, creating the heavens from one half and the earth from the other. Her eyes became rivers, her breath the winds, her body the mountains and valleys. From her destruction, Marduk brought forth the order and structure that would define the world. With Tiamat vanquished and the heavens and earth established, Marduk turned his attention to the younger gods, assigning each a place and a role in this new order. To ensure that the cosmos remained in balance, he created time, setting the stars, sun, and moon in their courses. He established the cycles of night and day, the changing of the seasons, and the rhythm of life and death. Thus, Marduk became not only a god of strength, but also a god of creation, a divine ruler whose victory over chaos allowed life to flourish. Yet, Marduk understood that order required not only structure, but also purpose. To honor the gods who had supported him, he decided to create beings who would serve them and uphold the order he had established. And so, Marduk fashioned humanity from the blood of Kingu, Tiamat's most loyal commander, who had fought alongside her in the battle. By mixing Kingu's blood with the earth, Marduk gave life to humans, beings who would carry within them both the chaos of their origins and the duty to maintain order. Marduk entrusted humans with the task of worshiping the gods, building temples, and performing rituals to honor them. In exchange, the gods would protect humanity, guiding their destinies and ensuring the stability of the world. Thus, humanity became the link between the divine and the earthly, a bridge between order and chaos, life and death. To the Mesopotamians, the Enuma Elish was more than a tale of creation. It was a reminder of the fragile balance that holds the universe together. They believed that the world was constantly under threat from chaos, and it was their duty to uphold Marduk's order through devotion and ritual. Each year, during the Akatu festival, they would retell the story of Marduk's victory over Tiamat, reaffirming the triumph of order and the strength of their gods. The Enuma Elish speaks to a world shaped by conflict and sacrifice, where creation itself emerges from the clash of opposing forces. It reminds us that life is both fragile and resilient, a delicate balance between chaos and control. Through Marduk's victory, the Mesopotamians found hope, order, and meaning, a way to understand their place in a world where chaos always lurks just beneath the surface. As we leave the realm of Mesopotamia, we travel to another ancient land where the gods shape the world not through conflict, but through the dance of creation. In Greek mythology, the world emerges from the formless void of chaos as gods of earth, sky, and love come together to build a world filled with beauty and complexity. Join us as we enter the Greek cosmos and witness the birth of titans, gods, and the human world. Chapter 3: Greek Mythology, Chaos and the Birth of the Titans. In the beginning, before there was earth, sky, or sea, there was only chaos, a vast, formless void, silent and endless. To the Greeks, chaos was more than emptiness. It was a dark abyss containing the raw potential for everything that would come to be. Out of chaos, in an act of cosmic wonder, the first forces of creation emerged, setting the stage for a world that would be shaped by both divine powers and human struggles. From the dark expanse of chaos came Gaia, the earth, the first true deity, and the foundation of all life. She was both mother and world, a nurturing presence who gave shape to the void, forming hills, valleys, and fields from her very being. Alongside her arose Tartarus, the shadowy underworld that lay deep within the earth, a dark realm that would later hold imprisoned beings of unimaginable power. And then came Eros, the god of love, a force so essential that it ignited the desire to create, to connect, and to bring new life into the universe. Eros's presence stirred Gaia and all that surrounded her, a reminder that creation was fueled by both beauty and longing. With Gaia's emergence, the world began to take shape, but it was still a silent, empty place. Desiring companionship, Gaia brought forth Uranus, the sky, who stretched out above her, covering her vast form and becoming her equal and lover. Together, Gaia and Uranus formed a unity of earth and sky, a cosmic bond that would give birth to the first generation of gods, the Titans. From their union, Gaia and Uranus created 12 Titans, each embodying an aspect of nature and the cosmos. Among them were Oceanus, the god of the vast oceans, Hyperion, god of the sun, Themis, goddess of divine law, and Cronus, who would become the youngest and most ambitious of them all. These Titans were powerful beings, each with a role to play in the shaping of the world, but their birth also sowed the seeds of conflict. Uranus, fearing the strength and potential of his children, kept them bound within Gaia's depths, refusing to let them emerge into the light. The Titans remained imprisoned, trapped within their mother, yearning for freedom. Gaia, unable to bear the pain of holding her children within, hatched a plan to free them. She called upon her children, asking which of them would rise against Uranus and bring an end to his tyranny. Only Cronus, the youngest and boldest of the Titans, stepped forward. Armed with an adamantine sickle crafted by Gaia herself, Cronus waited until nightfall, when Uranus descended to be with Gaia. As Uranus enveloped the earth, Cronus struck, severing his father's power and casting him away from Gaia's surface. The blood of Uranus fell upon the earth, and from it sprang new beings, giants and furies, spirits of vengeance who would roam the earth, forever reminding mortals and gods of the consequences of betrayal. With Uranus defeated, Cronus freed his siblings, and the Titans emerged into the light, claiming the earth and sky as their domain. Cronus took the throne as the new ruler of the cosmos, governing alongside his sister wife, Rhea. Under Cronus's rule, the world entered a golden age, a time of peace and prosperity when mortals lived without fear, untouched by disease or death. But as time passed, Cronus grew anxious, haunted by a prophecy that foretold his own downfall. Just as he had overthrown his father, so too would he be overthrown by one of his own children. Determined to defy fate, Cronus took drastic measures. Each time Rhea bore him a child, he would swallow the infant whole, consuming them to prevent the prophecy from coming true. Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon, one by one he devoured them, believing that his actions would secure his rule. But Rhea, devastated by the loss of her children, resolved to save her next child. When she gave the birth to her youngest, Zeus, she hid him away in a cave on the island of Crete, and presented Cronus with a stone wrapped in swaddling cloth. Cronus, blinded by his fear, swallowed the stone without question, unaware that his son had been spared. Zeus grew up hidden from Cronus's watchful eye, raised by nymphs and nourished by the milk of the goat Amalthea. As he grew, so did his strength and resolve, and he eventually returned to challenge his father. Guided by Gaia and armed with his own sense of justice, Zeus devised a plan to free his siblings. He offered Cronus a potion that caused him to regurgitate the children he had swallowed, releasing the other Olympian gods: Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon, who emerged whole and powerful, ready to join Zeus in his rebellion. Thus began the Titanomachy, a fierce war between the Titans, led by Cronus, and the younger Olympian gods, led by Zeus. The battle raged across the heavens and the earth, shaking the very foundations of the world. The Olympians were aided by the Cyclopes and the Hecatonchires, giants with 100 hands, whom Cronus had also imprisoned in the depths of Tartarus. Grateful for their freedom, these powerful beings forged weapons for the Olympians: thunderbolts for Zeus, a trident for Poseidon, and a helm of invisibility for Hades. With their newfound weapons, the Olympians waged a relentless assault on the Titans, driving them back and eventually overthrowing Cronus. Zeus, victorious, cast the defeated Titans into Tartarus, confining them within the deep, dark prison at the Earth's core, where they would remain for eternity. With the Titans defeated, the Olympians claimed their place as the new rulers of the cosmos, ushering in a new age, an era of gods who would govern with both wisdom and power. Zeus took his place as the king of the gods, ruling from Mount Olympus, where he established order and justice. His siblings joined him, each taking on a domain that shaped the lives of mortals and the natural world. Poseidon ruled over the seas, Hades governed the underworld, and Hera became the queen of Olympus. The Golden Age had ended, but a new world was born, one defined by the complex relationships and passions of the Olympian gods, who would forever influence the lives of mortals below. In Greek mythology, this cycle of creation and conflict reflects the values and ideals of the ancient Greeks. They saw the world as a place shaped by both harmony and struggle, where every act of creation required sacrifice and every achievement brought new challenges. The Olympian gods, with their flaws and virtues, embodied the strengths and weaknesses of humanity itself, offering a reflection of the human condition in all its complexity. As we leave the realm of Greek mythology, we turn to a different vision of creation, one shaped not by rebellion or conflict, but by cycles of time and the breathing of the cosmos. In Hindu mythology, creation is a continual process of birth, death, and rebirth, an endless dance performed by the gods to maintain balance in the universe. Join us as we journey into the Hindu cosmology, where the universe begins within the golden cosmic egg, and the breath of Brahma fills the world with life. Chapter 4. The Hindu Creation Myth, the Cosmic Egg, and the Breath of Brahma. In the vast depths of Hindu cosmology, creation is not a single event, nor is it defined by a beginning or an end. Instead, it is an eternal cycle, a cosmic dance of birth, preservation, and destruction that repeats across endless ages. To the ancient Hindus, the universe itself breathes, expanding and contracting with the rhythm of existence, bound by the energies of divine forces. In this cosmic cycle, every end is a new beginning, and every beginning contains within it the seeds of its own end. The story of creation in Hindu mythology begins with the golden cosmic egg, the Hiranyagarbha, a radiant vessel floating in the vast void of nothingness. Within this egg lay the universe, a swirling mix of potential and energy, and within it slept Brahma, the first god and creator, existing in a state of timeless peace. For ages beyond counting, Brahma lay in slumber, awaiting the moment when the cycle would begin anew. Finally, as the time ripened, the golden egg split open, and from it poured forth the universe, a realm of light, form, and life. Brahma awakened, and with his awakening the world was born. Brahma, now fully conscious, looked upon the vastness of creation, and in his heart arose a desire to bring form and order to the endless expanse. From his mind, he created the Vedas, the sacred texts that would bring knowledge and purpose to the world, guiding the lives of gods and mortals alike. Through his meditation and divine will, Brahma brought forth the elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, each essential to the building of life. He then divided himself into male and female forms, embodying the dual forces that would create all beings. Through this act of separation, Brahma became both creator and creation, embodying the endless cycle of life within himself. As Brahma began the work of creation, he took on 4 faces, each looking in a different direction to oversee the unfolding of the universe. With each thought, beings came into existence, gods, sages, and spirits, each with their own role in the divine order. Brahma's mind was filled with images of worlds yet to be formed, and from these visions he created the realms of the universe, each connected by the threads of karma and rebirth. In this cosmic hierarchy, the earth took its place as one of the many realms within the Hindu cosmology. Above it lay the heavens, where the gods resided, and below it were the realms of ancestors and the underworld. But Brahma's creation did not end there, for the universe was vast, and each realm needed beings to inhabit it. Thus, Brahma created the first humans, bringing them into the world as reflections of the divine, capable of both love and destruction, wisdom and folly. These early humans would live under the laws of karma, their actions determining the paths of their souls through countless lives, from one realm to another. Yet, in Hindu mythology, creation is not solely Brahma's task, for he is only one part of a divine trinity known as the Trimurti, which also includes Vishnu, the preserver, and Shiva, the destroyer. Together, these three gods maintain the universe's balance, ensuring that life continues through cycles of creation, preservation, and destruction. Vishnu takes on the role of protector, sustaining life and order whenever the balance is threatened, while Shiva embodies the power of destruction, ending each cycle so that a new one may begin. This cycle of creation and destruction is encapsulated in the Hindu concept of yugas, or ages, which divide time into four distinct periods: the Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dvapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. Each yuga represents a gradual decline from virtue and truth to chaos and strife, with the Kali Yuga, the age of darkness, marking the end of the cycle. When the Kali Yuga reaches its peak, Shiva will perform the Tandava, the dance of destruction, ending the universe so that Brahma can create it anew. Thus, the end of one universe is simply the beginning of the next, a process that will continue eternally. As Brahma completed his creation, he was filled with both pride and humility, knowing that his role, though vast, was only a small part of the cosmic cycle. He understood that he too was bound by time and would eventually be absorbed back into the supreme consciousness of the universe. This ultimate reality, known as Brahman, is the source from which all things come and to which all things return. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva are but aspects of this supreme force, manifestations of a divine essence that is beyond form, beyond time, and beyond comprehension. In Hindu thought, this cosmic cycle reflects the nature of existence itself. Life, death, and rebirth are all parts of a greater whole, a journey of the soul through various forms and lives. Each soul, or Atman, is a fragment of Brahman, journeying through the realms of existence, shaped by its karma, striving for liberation or moksha. Moksha is the release from this cycle, a return to the ultimate source, where the soul merges with Brahman and achieves a state of eternal peace and unity. The Hindu creation myth reminds us of the interconnectedness of all things, the delicate balance that sustains the universe, and the impermanence of life. It teaches that all beings, from the smallest creature to the mightiest god, are part of the same cycle, bound together by karma and the pursuit of enlightenment. The cosmic egg, Brahma's breath, and the eternal cycle of the yugas are symbols of life's endless renewal, a dance that moves in perfect harmony with the universe itself. As we leave the realm of Hindu mythology, we turn to a different vision of creation, where the forces of yin and yang bring balance to the cosmos. In Chinese mythology, the world emerges from a cosmic egg, shaped by the first being, Pan Gu, whose body gives rise to the mountains, rivers, and skies. Join us as we enter the ancient Chinese creation story and witness the birth of the world through the primal forces of balance and transformation. Chapter 5. The Chinese Creation Myth, Pan Gu and the Cosmic Egg. In the ancient Chinese vision of the world's beginnings, creation was born from a singular, harmonious balance, a cosmic equilibrium that held all potential within it. Before there was sky, earth, or life, there existed only a vast cosmic egg floating in the silent void, containing the fundamental forces of yin and yang. Within this egg, the forces of yin, representing darkness, coolness, and femininity, mingled with yang, the forces of light, warmth, and masculinity. Together, these primal forces swirled in an endless dance, embodying both opposition and harmony, waiting for the moment when creation would begin. From this primordial union, a single being took shape. Pan Gu, the first and greatest of all beings, a giant whose body held the power of the cosmos within it. For thousands of years, Pan Gu slumbered in the depths of the cosmic egg, cradled by the balance of yin and yang. But eventually, the urge to create stirred within him, and with a mighty burst of strength, Pan Gu shattered the cosmic egg, breaking the harmony of yin and yang, and allowing the forces of creation to expand outward. With the egg's shell split open, Pan Gu found himself surrounded by swirling chaos. The light and pure elements of yang rose to form the heavens above, while the heavier, darker elements of yin sank down, creating the earth. Yet, without balance, these newly formed realms threatened to collapse back into chaos. To keep them apart, Pan Gu placed himself between the earth and the sky, standing tall as a living pillar, his head pressing up against the heavens and his feet firmly rooted in the earth below. Every day Pan Gu grew, expanding as he held the sky aloft, and with each passing day the heavens and earth moved further apart. For 18,000 years he stood as the bridge between yin and yang, ensuring that the two forces remained in balance. As he grew, so did the world, taking shape and order. Pan Gu's breath became the wind and clouds, his voice the rumbling thunder, and his eyes the sun and the moon. His hair formed the stars and constellations that adorned the night sky, while his limbs stretched across the earth, creating mountains and valleys. Finally, when his work was complete and the heavens and earth were stabilized, Pan Gu's body began to transform. With his last breath, he became one with the world he had created. His flesh turned into the fertile soil, his blood into rivers, and his bones into precious minerals and rocks. His muscles became the rolling hills and plains, and his hair took root as the trees and vegetation that covered the land. Even his voice, once thunderous, settled into the sound of flowing rivers and rustling leaves. In his final act, Pan Gu gave himself entirely to creation, his very being becoming the landscape and life that would sustain all future generations. From Pan Gu's sacrifice, the world was given shape and substance. Yet, his death was not the end of creation. The forces of yin and yang continued their interplay, a cycle of harmony and opposition that would give rise to all forms of life. Out of this balance, the first gods emerged, beings who would maintain and protect the earth that Pan Gu had created. Chief among them were Nuwa and Fuxi, a divine pair who would watch over the world and help guide the first humans toward understanding and wisdom. Nuwa, a goddess with the body of a serpent and the face of a woman, was deeply compassionate and saw beauty in the life that flourished across the earth. She wandered the world, marveling at the rivers, mountains, and forests that had sprung from Pan Gu's sacrifice. Yet, despite the wonders of creation, she felt a sense of loneliness in the vastness of the world. Inspired by this longing, Nuwa decided to create beings in her own likeness, giving rise to the first humans. She molded them from the yellow clay of the earth, carefully shaping each figure with her hands and breathing life into them. These beings, born from the earth and blessed with her divine essence, would come to populate the world, carrying within them the qualities of yin and yang, balance, and harmony. To Nuwa, humans were precious and fragile, beings who would need protection and guidance as they grew. She cared for them, teaching them the skills they would need to survive and flourish in the world. But her compassion extended beyond creation. When the heavens were torn and chaos threatened to seep back into the world, Nuwa acted as a protector. In one tale, the sky split open, and disaster spread across the earth, fires and floods wreaking havoc. Nuwa, witnessing the devastation, sought to mend the world. Using the 5 colored stones from the earth, she forged a great patch to seal the sky, restoring balance and protecting her creations. Her actions exemplified the spirit of harmony and duty that lay at the heart of Chinese cosmology, a reminder that the universe thrived only when all parts worked in balance, and that humanity, the gods, and the natural world were all bound by a shared responsibility. In Chinese philosophy, the story of Pan Gu and the balance of yin and yang represent the interconnectedness of all things. Every aspect of life, from the change of seasons to the flow of rivers and the growth of plants, embodies this balance. Life and death, light and dark, growth and decay. Each is a manifestation of yin and yang, constantly shifting, yet always striving for equilibrium. It is this harmony that sustains the world, a legacy of Pan Gu's sacrifice and the wisdom of the gods who followed him. To the ancient Chinese, this creation story was not merely a tale of origins, but a guide to living in harmony with the forces of the universe. It taught the importance of balance, not only in nature but within oneself, and the responsibility each being held to contribute to the world's harmony. The earth and sky, separated yet connected, represent the relationship between all opposites, a reminder that life's dualities are essential to its beauty and complexity. As we leave the world shaped by Pan Gu, we journey next to the islands of the Pacific, where the Maori creation myth tells a tale of love and separation. As Rangi, the Sky Father, and Papa, the Earth Mother, come together to give life to the world. Join us as we explore the Maori vision of creation, where love and loss weave together to form the essence of existence. Chapter 6. The Maori Creation Myth. Rangi and Papa, the Sky Father and Earth Mother. In the ancient Maori vision of creation, the universe began with a boundless darkness, a time known as Te Kore, the void, where there was nothing but endless potential. From this void came Te Po, the long night, a period of gestation and growth. In the depths of this darkness, 2 powerful beings emerged, Rangi, the Sky Father, and Papa, the Earth Mother. Their union was one of profound love, a bond so tight that it formed the essence of life itself. Locked in an eternal embrace, they became the foundation of all creation. Rangi and Papa loved each other deeply, but their love was all-consuming. In their closeness, there was no space for light or air, and their children, who lay trapped in the darkness between them, could not grow. The children, who would later become the gods of nature, yearned for freedom, for a world where they could stretch their limbs and see the beauty of light. In the cramped, stifling darkness, they held a council, each proposing a different way to escape. The first to speak was Tumatawenga, the god of war. Bold and fierce, he suggested that they kill their parents, freeing themselves by force. But his siblings recoiled at the thought, unwilling to destroy the beings who had given them life. Tanemahuta, the god of the forests and all living things, proposed an alternative. Instead of killing their parents, they would push them apart, allowing light and space to flow between them. The other gods agreed, feeling a mixture of fear and hope at the thought of finally seeing the world beyond. One by one, the gods attempted to separate Rangi and Papa, but none could break the hold of their parents' embrace. At last, it was Tain who took on the task. Summoning all his strength, he planted his shoulders against Papa and his feet against Rangi, slowly pressing them apart. With a powerful effort, he forced his parents away from each other, lifting the sky high above and pressing the earth below. At that moment, light flooded into the space between them, and the world was born. This moment, known as Te Ao Marama, the world of light, marked the beginning of life as we know it. With Rangi and Papa separated, the gods could finally move freely, filling the world with life, color, and sound. Tanemahuta planted forests and breathed life into the trees, birds, and animals, transforming the barren landscape into a thriving paradise. Tangaroa, the god of the sea, filled the oceans with fish and creatures of the deep, while Tahirimatea, the god of winds and storms, took his place in the skies, guiding the winds across the earth. Each god contributed their power to this new world, shaping and nurturing the land and sea. But while their children rejoiced in the light, Rangi and Papa grieved for their lost embrace. Separated by Tane's strength, they longed for each other from afar, their sorrow resonating through the heavens and earth. Rangi, the Sky Father, looked down upon Papa, the Earth Mother, shedding endless tears that fell as rain, nourishing the land and allowing life to grow. In response, Papa's sighs rose as mist, reaching up to touch Rangi, a tender reminder of their love. Their longing became a part of the natural world, forever entwining them even in their separation. Yet not all of the gods accepted this new order. Tahirimatea, the god of winds and storms, was furious at the separation of his parents and refused to take his place on earth. Instead, he rose to the sky, joining his father, Rangi. From his domain in the heavens, Tahirimatea unleashed his anger upon his siblings, sending fierce storms and hurricanes to tear down the trees of Tane, batter the seas of Tangaroa, and disturb the earth. His fury became an eternal struggle, with the elements clashing against one another in a constant cycle of destruction and renewal. The Maori creation myth is not just a story of creation, it is also a tale of love, loss, and the cost of freedom. The gods' decision to separate their parents allowed life and light to flourish, but it also brought sorrow and conflict into the world. Rangi and Papa's endless yearning became the heartbeat of the earth, a reminder that creation often comes with sacrifice. For the Maori, the natural world reflects this eternal tension, a balance between love and loss, light and darkness, peace and turmoil. To the Maori, the story of Rangi and Papa is a living myth, one that is deeply connected to their reverence for nature. The forests, rivers, mountains, and seas are all considered sacred, imbued with the presence of the gods. Rangi's tears continue to fall as rain, nurturing the earth and sustaining life, while Papa's warmth rises as mist, reaching toward the heavens. Every storm, every gust of wind, and every crashing wave is seen as Tahirimatea's ongoing battle to reunite his parents. This myth forms the basis of the Maori worldview, where all beings are interconnected, each one a part of a larger sacred whole. The story of Rangi and Papa teaches the importance of balance and respect for nature. It is a reminder that every action has consequences, and that the beauty of the natural world is born from both love and loss. The Maori believe that by honoring the earth and sky, they maintain a connection to their divine ancestors, ensuring that the world of light, Te Ao Marama, remains a place of life and harmony. As we leave the Maori creation myth, we move to the icy realms of Scandinavia, where Norse mythology tells a story of creation through sacrifice and the rise of the 9 realms. In this tale, the ancient void, Ginnungagap, gives birth to Ymir, a primordial giant whose body would form the earth, sea, and sky. Join us as we enter the Norse cosmos and witness the shaping of the world through the clash of fire and ice. Chapter 7. Norse Mythology. Ymir and the Creation of the 9 Realms. In the Norse vision of creation, the cosmos was born from a stark and desolate emptiness known as Ginnungagap, a vast and silent void that lay between 2 worlds. To the north was Niflheim, a realm of endless ice and mist, and to the south was Muspelheim, a realm of searing fire and light. For eons, these worlds existed in isolation, separated by the void. But over time, the icy mists of Niflheim began to creep southward, while the blazing heat of Muspelheim moved north, their energies finally meeting at the edge of Ginnungagap. As the warmth of Muspelheim touched the icy mists of Niflheim, the frost began to melt and drip, forming the first drops of life within the void. From these drops emerged Ymir, the first of the giants, a vast and powerful being whose body held the raw strength of both fire and ice. Ymir was both a creature of chaos and the origin of all life, for from his body would spring forth not only the race of giants, but also the materials to shape the very world itself. As Ymir slept, the warmth of Muspelheim continued to melt the frost around him, and from this melting ice came another creature, Audumla, a great cow who would nourish Ymir. Ymir drank from her milk, which flowed in abundance, allowing him to grow even larger and stronger. Audhumla herself fed on the salty frost of Niflheim, and as she licked the ice, a new being slowly emerged from within it. This being was Buri, the first of the gods, who would become the forefather of Odin, Vili, and Ve, the gods who would shape the destiny of the cosmos. Ymir, through his own body, brought forth life. From his sweat came the first giants, beings of immense strength who roamed the edges of Ginnungagap. Yet, while Ymir represented life and creation, his nature was chaotic and untamed, a force without order. Seeing the need for change, Buri's descendants, his son Bor and grandsons Odin, Vili, and Ve, rose up against Ymir, determined to bring structure to the chaotic world. In a fierce and monumental battle, Odin, Vili, and Ve confronted Ymir, a clash that shook the very foundations of the cosmos. After a relentless struggle, they succeeded in slaying the giant, and as Ymir's colossal form fell, his body became the foundation of the world. In an act of sacrifice, Ymir's remains were used to shape the realms, his body transforming into the elements of the cosmos. From Ymir's flesh, Odin and his brothers created the earth, a solid foundation on which life would flourish. His blood flowed in torrents, filling the void with seas and rivers, while his bones became the mountains, rising proudly across the land. His hair became the trees, spreading out to cover the earth with forests. They took his skull and lifted it high above the earth, forming the dome of the sky. Within this dome, they placed sparks taken from Muspelheim, which became the stars, lighting the heavens above. Ymir's death brought order and structure to the universe, yet his spirit lived on in the earth, the mountains, and the waters. But the creation of the world was not yet complete. To separate the land from the waters, Odin and his brothers created Midgard, the realm of humanity, encircling it with Ymir's eyebrows as a protective barrier against the wild forces that lay beyond. With the world shaped and divided, Odin and his brothers turned their attention to populating it with life. Walking along the shores of Midgard, they came upon 2 pieces of driftwood. From these simple forms, they crafted the first humans, breathing life into them and giving them purpose. The man they named Ask, and the woman Embla. Odin gave them breath, Vili gave them consciousness, and Ve gave them hearing and sight. Together, these gifts made them fully alive, granting humanity a unique place in the cosmos, a realm of their own within Midgard. The universe continued to expand, giving rise to the 9 realms, each with its own inhabitants and purpose. Above Midgard lay Asgard, the realm of the Aesir gods, where Odin, now the All-Father, would establish his throne and watch over all creation. Below Midgard lay the darker realms, including Helheim, the land of the dead, where the goddess Hel would rule over the souls of those who died without glory. The roots of Yggdrasil, the great world tree, connected all 9 realms, stretching across the universe and binding them together, its branches touching the heavens and its roots reaching deep into the earth. But even as Odin and the Aesir gods established order, the forces of chaos and conflict continued to simmer. The giants, descended from Ymir, inhabited Jotunheim, a realm that bordered Asgard and Midgard, and they often challenged the gods, keeping the balance between order and chaos ever fragile. This tension between the Aesir gods and the giants became a defining feature of the Norse cosmos, a constant struggle between creation and destruction, light and darkness. In Norse mythology, creation is both beautiful and violent, an act of sacrifice that binds the gods, the earth, and all living beings in a cycle of life and death. Ymir's body became the world, his essence woven into the fabric of existence, yet his legacy was one of conflict. The Norse saw the world as a place where order and chaos were locked in an eternal dance, where each act of creation contained the seeds of destruction. To the Norse, Ymir's sacrifice was a reminder that life is both fragile and resilient, shaped by forces beyond control. The world was not a place of perfect harmony. It was a realm where strength, bravery, and resilience were needed to survive the challenges of fate. This belief would become central to the Norse view of life and death, a philosophy that revered courage in the face of an uncertain world. As we leave the cold, misty lands of Scandinavia, we travel next to the ancient civilizations of Mesoamerica. In the Mayan creation myth, the gods' attempts to create humanity lead to both failure and triumph, culminating in the creation of humans from maize, the sacred crop that would define their culture. Join us as we enter the world of the Maya and witness the trials and triumphs of the gods as they shape humanity in their own image. Chapter 8. Mayan Creation, the Popol Vuh, and the Creation of Humanity. In the dense jungles of Mesoamerica, beneath the shade of towering trees and the cries of exotic birds, the ancient Maya told a story of creation filled with ambition, failure, and eventual triumph. This story, recorded in the sacred book known as the Popol Vuh, is a tale of gods striving to create beings who could understand, appreciate, and honor the world around them. To the Maya, creation was not a single act, but a journey a series of attempts in which the gods sought to find the perfect balance between strength and humility, knowledge and reverence. In the beginning, there was nothing but the sky above and the sea below. The world was silent, still, and dark. In this vast emptiness, the creator gods gathered, Heart of Sky, also known as Huracan, and Heart of Earth, called Tepeu. Together, they spoke the world into being, envisioning mountains rising from the sea, trees stretching toward the sky, rivers flowing, and animals roaming the land. As their words shaped reality, the earth took form, teeming with the elements of life, each piece fitting perfectly into the grand design. But as the gods observed their creation, they realized something was missing. The earth was beautiful, yet it was silent. There were no beings to see, to appreciate, or to give voice to the wonders of the world. And so, the gods decided to create beings who could honor them, beings with minds capable of understanding the mysteries of life and the beauty of creation. The gods' desire was not merely for praise, but for companionship, a reciprocal relationship between creation and creator. Their first attempt was to shape humans from mud. They molded the figures carefully, forming arms, legs, and faces with delicate precision. But the mud figures lacked strength and endurance. They crumbled, dissolving back into the earth as soon as they moved. Their mouths could not speak, and their limbs could not hold form. Disappointed but undeterred, the gods realized that this first attempt was too fragile to fulfill their purpose. Determined to succeed, the gods tried a second time. This time, they crafted humans from wood, using the trees that grew from the earth's rich soil. The wooden figures were stronger, able to walk and speak, and they multiplied quickly, filling the land with their numbers. But something was still amiss. The wooden beings were hollow, without minds to think or hearts to feel. They spoke, but their words held no meaning. They moved, but without understanding. Worse still, they lacked respect for the world around them, acting without gratitude or reverence. They neither honored the gods nor cared for the earth. Enraged by this failure, the gods sent a great flood to wash them away, allowing the wooden figures to dissolve back into the earth, leaving only a few remnants, monkeys, who, according to the Maya, still serve as a reminder of this flawed creation. Though discouraged, the gods were resolute. They knew that to bring their vision to life, they would need a substance both strong and sacred, something that could give rise to beings with the strength of the earth and the wisdom to honor it. It was then that they turned to maize, the lifeblood of the Maya, a crop that was both nourishing and sacred. Maize was seen as the perfect symbol of life, a food that grew from the soil and sustained the body, with roots deep in the earth and leaves that reached toward the heavens. Using maize as the base, the gods shaped new figures, molding flesh from the cornmeal, shaping bones from the cornstalks. This time, their creation was different. The maize figures were strong yet graceful, with minds sharp and eyes clear. When they stood, they looked to the heavens in awe, recognizing the beauty of the earth and honoring the gods who had made them. They understood the cycles of the seasons, the mysteries of life and death, and the sacred balance that connected all things. These beings, created from maize, were the first true humans, fulfilling the gods' vision. At first, the maize people's knowledge was boundless, their vision as sharp as that of the gods themselves. They could see the earth and sky in all its detail, grasping truths that even the gods found wondrous. But this extraordinary sight gave the maize people an unintended sense of equality with the gods, a vision too powerful for mortals. Recognizing the potential imbalance, the gods gently veiled their sight, limiting their understanding just enough to let them live humbly, while still appreciating the beauty and mystery of the world. This adjustment allowed the humans to live in harmony, balancing respect for their creators with the gifts of wisdom and life. The maize people, created from the very substance that fed them, came to revere maize as sacred, a symbol of their connection to the earth and the gods. To the Maya, maize was more than food. It was life itself, a reminder of the gods' sacrifice and their own duty to honor creation. They cultivated it with care, planting it according to the cycles of the sun and moon, understanding that they were part of a larger cosmic dance. Maize became central to their culture, their rituals, and their spirituality, a constant reminder of the bond between the gods, the earth, and humanity. In the Mayan creation myth, humanity's journey from mud to wood to maize reflects the idea that true creation requires patience, persistence, and understanding. The gods did not settle for imperfection. They sought a creation that could fully embody the beauty and balance of the world they had envisioned. Each failed attempt brought them closer to their goal, teaching them that the act of creation is as much about learning and growth as it is about shaping form. This story also speaks to the Mayan view of life as a reciprocal relationship with nature and the divine. Just as the gods cared for humanity, so too did humanity care for the earth, cultivating maize and honoring the cycles of nature as an act of gratitude and reverence. The creation myth served as a foundation for the Mayan worldview, reminding them that they were born from the earth, sustained by it, and ultimately responsible for its well-being. As we leave the rich, fertile lands of Mesoamerica, we turn to the Native American plains, where creation emerges from the collaboration of animals and the support of a great turtle. In this story, known as the Earth Diver myth, life is brought forth from the depths of water, with creatures working together to create a home for all beings. Join us as we journey to the Native American myth of creation and witness the birth of the world through unity and cooperation. Chapter 9. Native American Myth: The Great Turtle and the Earth Diver. In the traditions of many Native American tribes, the beginning of the world was a time of water, a boundless, endless expanse stretching in every direction. There was no land, no mountains, and no place to walk or rest. Yet even in this watery world, life flourished, and among the creatures that swam and drifted was Sky Woman, a divine being who had fallen from the heavens above. Sky Woman descended from her celestial home, drawn toward the mysterious world of water below. As she fell, she reached out, grasping seeds and plants to bring life to the unknown world she was about to enter. The animals of the water saw her approach and sensed her need. Fearing that she would have nowhere to land, they gathered together, determined to help her. The animals knew that for Sky Woman to survive, she would need land, a solid place to stand and plant her seeds. They devised a plan. They would dive to the depths of the water to find Earth. The task was dangerous, as the bottom was dark, distant, and unknown, but each animal, one by one, volunteered to attempt the journey. They hoped that if they could reach the earth below, they might bring up a handful of soil, enough to form a place for Sky Woman and life itself to grow. The first to dive was the powerful loon. Its sleek body built for diving and swimming, it plunged into the depths, determined to succeed. But the water was deep and the journey long, and after some time, the loon surfaced, gasping for air, unable to reach the bottom. Next, the brave otter took its turn, diving swiftly into the water, pushing through the darkness. But it too was forced to return to the surface, unable to find the earth. One by one, the animals took their turn, each trying their best, but none could reach the bottom. At last, the little muskrat stepped forward. Small and unassuming, the muskrat was not known for great strength or speed, but it was determined to help. Taking a deep breath, the muskrat dove beneath the waves, swimming down with all its might. The water pressed heavily upon it, and the darkness grew deeper, but it continued to swim, driven by a sense of purpose. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the muskrat reached the bottom. With its tiny paws, it scooped up a handful of earth, clutching it tightly. Exhausted, it began the long journey back to the surface. When it finally emerged, the other animals gathered around, relieved and grateful. The muskrat, though weak and struggling for breath, held out its paw, revealing the precious soil it had brought from the depths. With the earth now in their possession, the animals turned to the great turtle, whose shell was broad and sturdy. The turtle agreed to carry the earth on its back, offering itself as the foundation upon which the world could be built. The animals spread the earth across the turtle's shell, and as they did, the soil began to expand, growing outward to form land. Sky Woman stepped gently onto the new ground, her feet touching earth for the first time. As she stood upon the turtle's back, Sky Woman took the seeds she had brought with her from the heavens and planted them in the soil. From these seeds sprouted trees, grasses, and flowers, filling the land with life and color. Rivers flowed across the turtle's back, and mountains rose, forming a landscape that would sustain all beings. The earth, created through cooperation, became a place of abundance, a home for Sky Woman and for all the animals who had helped her. This world, balanced on the back of a great turtle, became known as Turtle Island, a place where life could flourish, each being connected by the efforts that had brought it into existence. The animals, the earth, the water, and Sky Woman herself were all bound by their shared role in creation, a reminder that every creature, no matter how small, had a purpose and a contribution to make. In the Native American earth diver myth, creation is not the act of a single powerful being, but a collaborative effort, one where even the smallest and humblest play a vital role. The story reflects the Native American reverence for nature, the belief that all creatures, great and small, are interconnected and have a place in the world. It teaches the value of perseverance, humility, and cooperation, celebrating the muskrat's determination, the turtle's strength, and the animal's unity. For many Native American tribes, this story is more than a creation myth. It is a foundation for their relationship with the land and each other. The world, supported by the turtle, reminds them to tread lightly, respecting the earth as both their home and their partner. Every river, mountain, and forest is a gift, the result of the shared efforts of all beings. By honoring this balance, they maintain a connection with their ancestors and the divine forces that shaped the world. As we leave Turtle Island and the story of the great turtle and the muskrat's sacrifice, we journey next to West Africa, where the Yoruba creation myth tells of gods descending from the heavens to create the earth and humanity. In this tale, divine beings shape the land with wisdom, compassion, and the unity of the Orishas, offering another vision of how life came into existence. Join us as we explore the Yoruba creation story and witness the world's birth through divine craftsmanship and the descent from the heavens. Chapter 10. Yoruba Creation Myth, Olodumare and the Golden Chain. In the rich, vibrant traditions of the Yoruba people of West Africa, creation was not an isolated act, but a divine journey, one in which the gods, or orishas, descended from the heavens to shape the world and bring life to it. The Yoruba believed that Olodumare, the supreme being, held dominion over all creation, existing beyond the earthly realm in the vast, eternal heavens. Though distant, Olodumare was the source of all things, a presence whose wisdom and authority guided the orishas in their mission to shape the world. In the beginning, the earth was a formless expanse covered by endless waters, a realm of uncertainty and chaos. Above it lay Orun, the sky, the home of the orishas and Olodumare himself. The orishas, powerful beings imbued with divine purpose, dwelled there, living in harmony under Olodumare's guidance. But as they looked upon the empty world below, they knew that their purpose lay beyond Orun. Olodumare, in his wisdom, decided it was time to bring form to the formless, and tasked one of the orishas, Obatala, with the mission of descending to the waters below to create solid land. Obatala, the orisha of wisdom, compassion, and creation, accepted this great task with humility and reverence. Olodumare provided him with the tools needed for this sacred journey: a long golden chain, a snail shell filled with sand, a white hen, a black cat for companionship, and a palm nut. With these gifts, Obatala began his descent from the heavens, using the golden chain to lower himself through the vast emptiness that separated Orun from the chaotic waters below. Obatala descended slowly, the golden chain shimmering against the endless skies above. When he reached the end of the chain, he still found himself suspended over the endless waters, with no solid ground in sight. Carefully, he poured the sand from the snail shell into the waters below and released the white hen. The hen landed upon the sand and began to scratch and spread it out with her feet, scattering it across the waters. Wherever the sand touched, it expanded, forming dry land beneath her. Hills, valleys, and plains began to take shape, each formed from the grains of sand brought down from the heavens. Thus, solid land emerged from the depths of chaos, and the earth took its first breaths. Pleased with his creation, Obatala named this new land If, and he made it his home. He planted the palm nut, which grew into a tall, mighty tree, bearing seeds that spread across the land, giving rise to groves and forests. Life began to flourish upon this new earth, and Obatala, content with the landscape he had crafted, knew that his task was not yet complete. He saw that the earth was beautiful, but it was silent and uninhabited, devoid of beings who could see, feel, and give thanks for the wonders around them. Obatala set out to mold beings in his own likeness, beings who could inhabit the earth, experience its beauty, and honor the divine forces that had created it. He gathered clay from the earth and carefully shaped figures, crafting each one with the utmost care. Yet, as he worked under the sun's heat, he grew tired and thirsty. Seeking relief, he found a palm tree and drank deeply from the palm wine it produced. Unbeknownst to him, the wine affected his clarity, and in his drowsiness he continued molding the figures. Some were shaped with imperfections, differences in form and features that Obatala, in his inebriated state, had not intended. When he returned to the heavens, Olodumare, seeing Obatala's effort and dedication, breathed life into the clay figures, bringing them into being as the first humans. They rose upon the earth, each unique, some marked by the imperfections caused by Obatala's unsteady hand. The Yoruba people believe that from this act came the diversity of humanity, a testament to the variety and resilience within creation. When Obatala realized what he had done, he was filled with sorrow and vowed from that day forward to watch over all people, especially those born with differences. He took a solemn oath never to drink palm wine again, dedicating himself as a protector and advocate for humanity. With the earth now alive, Obatala's creation flourished, but he was not alone in his role. The other Orishas descended to join him, each bringing unique powers and responsibilities. They brought rain, fertility, fire, and wisdom, spreading these gifts across the land and guiding humanity in their growth. Among them was Orunmila, the Orisha of wisdom and divination, who taught people how to communicate with the divine and understand their destinies. Each Orisha took on a specific role in the world, contributing to the harmony and balance that would ensure the earth's prosperity. The creation of humanity was not only an act of divine craftsmanship, but also a reminder of the interconnectedness of all things. Humans were created from the same clay as the earth, molded by the hands of Obatala and brought to life by Olodumare's breath. This connection taught the Yoruba people that they, too, were responsible for honoring the earth, caring for it as a sacred gift, and respecting the Orishas who sustained it. The Orishas were more than gods. They were family, guides, and protectors, and their presence was woven into every aspect of daily life. The Yoruba creation myth teaches the values of humility, responsibility, and respect for diversity. It reminds the Yoruba that each person, no matter how different, is part of a larger, sacred whole. The imperfections in humanity are not flaws, but marks of individuality, symbols of the variety that Obatala's gentle hands brought into the world. To the Yoruba, the earth itself is divine, formed by the loving effort of the Orishas and filled with their blessings. Humanity's duty is to honor this world, live in harmony with the Orishas, and remember the divine spark within every being. As we leave the rich lands of Ife and the story of Obatala's descent, we journey next to the conclusion of our mythic travels, reflecting on the universal themes and unique visions within each creation myth. From the waters of Nun to the clay figures of Obatala, we see the myriad ways cultures have explained the birth of existence, each story offering a glimpse into humanity's quest to understand life's origins. Chapter 11. Common Threads and Unique Visions. Our journey through the creation myths of the world brings us to a place of reflection, where we can see both the unique visions and the shared themes that weave through these ancient tales. From the infinite waters of Nun to the golden egg of Brahma, from the love between Rangi and Papa to the cosmic clash that gave rise to Ymir's sacrifice, each myth tells a story of life's beginnings, each one offering a glimpse into the beliefs and values of the people who created them. These stories span continents and cultures, yet they share common threads that resonate deeply with the human experience. At the heart of each myth lies a desire to explain the mystery of existence, to understand where we come from, why we are here, and how we are connected to the world around us. Whether creation comes from the breath of a god, the efforts of a courageous animal, or the careful craftsmanship of divine hands, each myth tells us something about how ancient people saw themselves and their place within the universe. One of the most universal themes across these stories is the concept of balance. In the Chinese myth, The forces of yin and yang represent harmony, a duality that sustains life. In the Maori story, the separation of Rangi and Papa brought light into the world, yet left a bittersweet longing, a reminder that life is both joy and loss. The Norse myth of Ymir's sacrifice embodies the idea that creation often requires giving something up, that even in a world of gods, existence is fragile and must be nurtured. Each culture recognized that balance between order and chaos, light and darkness, life and death, is essential to the structure of life itself. Another theme is that of interconnectedness, a belief that all beings, from the smallest creature to the mightiest god, are part of a larger whole. In the Native American Earth Diver myth, animals work together to create land, each one contributing their unique strengths to bring about a world where all can thrive. In the Mayan Popol Vuh, the creation of humanity from maize reflects the Mayas' deep connection to the earth and their reverence for the crops that sustained them. The Yoruba myth of Obatala and the Orishas emphasizes that humanity is crafted from the same elements as the earth and sky, carrying within them the divine essence that connects them to the gods and each other. These myths also reveal a deep respect for diversity and imperfection. In the story of Obatala, the accidental differences in humanity are seen not as flaws, but as essential parts of creation. The imperfections reflect the natural world's variety and remind us of the beauty that lies in individuality. This theme is echoed in the Egyptian myth, where creation brings forth a range of gods, each with distinct qualities that contribute to the harmony of the cosmos. Diversity in these myths is celebrated as a strength, a reminder that creation itself is multifaceted and that each part has its role in the balance of the universe. But perhaps the most universal theme is the human desire for understanding. Each story embodies the quest to find meaning in existence and to connect with the forces that shape our lives. To the ancient Egyptians, this understanding was a path to achieving ma'at, or harmony. For the Hindus, the cycle of creation, preservation, and destruction was a journey of self-discovery and enlightenment. The Greeks saw the struggles of their gods as reflections of their own human challenges, finding lessons in the stories of Zeus, Gaia, and the Titans. And for the Maori, honoring Rangi and Papa's love serves as a reminder to value relationships, to cherish family and community as sacred parts of life. As we look back on these myths, we see that creation is not merely an origin story. It is a reflection of how people saw themselves, their hopes, fears, and dreams, their understanding of life and death, and their place in the vast mystery of the cosmos. These myths continue to offer wisdom, reminding us that we, too, are part of something larger, something ancient and profound. They teach us to respect the earth, to seek balance, to value diversity, and to honor the interconnected web of life that binds us all. And so, as we conclude this journey, we find that these ancient stories still resonate today. They remind us that the search for understanding, the quest for meaning, and the need to belong are not merely relics of the past, but enduring parts of the human spirit. From the depths of none to the heights of Mount Olympus, from the cosmic egg to the turtle's back, each myth offers a piece of the universal puzzle, a reminder that creation is not only the origin of life, but also the essence of what it means to be alive. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the creation myths of the world. May these stories bring insight, wonder, and connection to your own journey, wherever it may lead.